this is Tracey from Lavinia Stamps. Thank you for joining me for another week of demonstrations. Today we're going to be doing a winter scene using torn paper. So to get a nice sharp edge, pull it like you were ripping a check out of a checkbook. And we're going to take a couple of oxides as well. We've got iced spruce there, and we've got broken china and stormy sky. I'm not sure whether I'm going to use them all, but we'll see as we go along. So let's start with the iced spruce. Let's just pick a little bit of that up. And it's such a nice colour, this, because it's kind of like a grey green. I think it lends itself really well to like a cold colour. So that's why I've picked the blues, to be honest, because they're nice and cold. Okay, so I'm just going to go along the edge. We don't want too much ink on. We want to build the colour up gradually, so we're not in any rush. And all I'm doing is just building up. Don't worry too much if you've got any lines or marks. We are going to be stamping over the top, so by the time we've finished you won't notice, so don't worry. Okay, so I'm just bringing a little bit more depth now. Okay, so that's our first layer. So you can see immediately that this is your snow. Okay, so the next layer now, I'm going to pop that down about there. And again, I'm going to just go in with the same colour. This is iced spruce. Okay, now if I want to bring in a little bit of depth onto this, I'm going to just take one of our the VersaFine Clair. This time I'd take the Twilight. So I just want to bring in a little bit of depth. Yeah, okay, so I'm going to go back to this one again now, pop it about there, and we'll go back to the iced spruce. But it's a great way to create a snowy scene. And again, if we want a little bit of depth, I'm just going to pop a little of the VersaFine Twilight just in a few areas. Okay, so you can see it's just starting to come together. Now I'm going to use the broken china. So that's quite a nice sort of turquoise colour. So I'm going to just go in with that down the bottom. And then a little over the edge as well. So it's just about really gently blending the colours just with that circular motion, but remembering to leave the white in certain areas. Okay, so I'm going back to the twilight now, and I'm just going to bring in a bit of depth down the bottom here. Okay, so there's our background. So I'm just taking the stamps I'm going to be using, and the Versamark as well, and I'm using the opaque bright white Wow embossing powder. But you can use whatever colours you like, but it's quite nice to base it on blues, as I say, because they're quite a cold colour. Okay, so I'm going to use my twilight now, and then taking our very small set of trees. Wasn't that one, was it? I think. Doesn't matter too much as long as you mask that area off. Okay, so I'm going to ink up now in the twilight, and then just start popping these down. And this is just literally just building a scene now. So let's move on to our slightly bigger one. Oops, got something on there. Oh well, there we go. Already marked it. Never mind, we will keep on going. Okay, so now I'm going to use our larger tree, and this time I'm going to ink up in our Versamark, because we're going to create some white trees now. Okay, so I'm going to pop that down on the edge now. And then use the embossing powders over the top. Tap that off. And I've just caught the other tree, so I'm just going to brush that off a bit. And I'm going to just heat that up now, and it will give us a nice white tree. It's just starting to go now. There we go. So pop that back in there. And then we'll do another one. So we're just, as I say, we're just building that scene. Where should we do another one? Maybe about here. Okay, and I think we'll do some bigger trees down the bottom here as well, so I'm going to pop those onto a larger block. Using the Versamark again. I'm going to pop one here. And another one down here. And again, just using the opaque bright white, just pop that over the top, tap that off. And if you can see any areas that, you know, it gets stuck, just use a brush and tidy it up a little before using the heat gun, because as you know, it will just set if you heat it and you have speckles then, which might give you quite a nice effect. Okay, so it's all starting to come together. So what's next? Let's have a look. I think we need a moon there, don't we? So let's take one of our pieces of acetate and we'll pop that over, and then we're just going to grab a smoothie. I only want a tiny bit, want it to be subtle, and if we want more depth we can build it up gradually. Okay, now because that's quite flat now, the actual moon, there's no depth to it, we need to bring in a little bit of colour inside the moon as well. So again, I'm going to use the same smoothie, and very, very gently we're just going to go around the edge and just soften it slightly, and this gives it a little bit more dimension. Okay, so I'm just going to darken this top corner because I'm going to use the white emboss again in this corner, and it really does stand out if it's on a dark background. Okay, so one thing I've learned is to dry your ink off if you're embossing, As I've said before, otherwise it tends to stick to any wet ink, any wet areas. So remember to dry off on each layer. So I'm going to just heat that now. Okay. Okay, so let's take our leaf. I'm actually going to try the broken china. Let's just test that first. Yeah, okay. Let's give it a go anyway. There we go, that's nice and settled. Okay, so we will emboss next. So I'm going to again heat up, make sure it's completely dry, otherwise that embossing powder is going to stick to where I've just stamped. Okay. That's looking dry to me. So going back to the Versamark now, I'm going to ink that up. And then pop that down. And again here. And now let's try the opaque again over the top. And let's see what we get. Okay. Probably better to use a finer brush than the one I've got here. There we go, that's a better one. So there's just a few little areas again that it's caught. That should be fine. So I'm going to heat those up again now. That white opaque really does stand out. Okay, so I'm going to go over the top of that now, using the twilight again. Okay, so I think we're almost there now. So I think what we'll do now is stamp our jumping hare. Let's put him about there. What do you reckon? Okay. Let's pop him down. And I think I'm going to stick with the twilight actually. I don't want it to be too black. And this is a lovely, lovely colour. As you can see, it's like a navy blue. So if you don't want to use black, this is the next best thing. I'm just going to test that. Okay. I'm just being extra careful on this one now because I need this to be right. Now I've spent the time making the background. As you guys know what it's like when you spend so much time on your background. Okay, so fingers crossed. There we go, perfect. I need to move this mark as well. So what have I got here? Got a little white pen. Wonder if that will help. Oh, there we go, disappeared. You wouldn't even know it's there. Let's have a look what words we've got today. Silence is upon us as snowflakes fall. Winter is here once and for all. That'd be quite a nice little sentiment to go down there. So I'm going to ink up in the twilight. Make sure it's the right way round. And let's pop that down here. There we go. And now a little bit of glitter. So I'm going to use my glue pen to start with. And I'm just going to pop a little in the trees. And just over the edge of the mountains as well. All I'm doing is just dotting. So now I'm undecided whether to go with this one because that's more sort of wintry. Let me go with this one. Can't remember where I put the glue now. Never mind, we'll just give it a shake. I'm sure it'll stick to something. Brush that off There we go. I'm glad I went with that glitter actually. So there we go. I hope you enjoyed that demonstration, our winter card for today. Thanks for bearing with me guys, I know that was quite a long card, so thanks for watching. See you again real soon. Bye for now.